heartbleed security flaw revealed earlier this week does not only affect websites. Experts say the flaw in technology used to keep you safe online also affects millions of Android smartphones and tablets, as well as networking equipment, including routers, switches, and firewalls. Companies and government agencies have been scrambling to find vulnerabilities in their websites and fix the problems as quickly as possible. With us now is privacy, data, and security expert Alysa Hutnik. Hey, Alysa, let me start here. Now we're talking about smartphones and tablets and networking equipment. This is a lot worse, it seems to me, than earlier in the week. Do we have any idea where this might end?
Oh, it's such a good question. I mean, heartbleed, that name just really gives the whole feeling to it, right?
Right.
We are bleeding information. I think the key is what it comes down to is this was such a widely, and it still is, a widely popular encryption tool. We rely on it to keep our communications secure for a lot of internet services. And right now what we're doing is we're peeling back the onion, right? How many internet services, how many devices, how many hardwares, how many mobile apps are connecting to something that's relying on this encryption tool. Okay. And you know what? We don't know the answer yet.
So is this a surprise to folks who do what you do? I mean, are you rocked like we are?
So we're rocked because we all, we rely on the internet, obviously, for the personal way. But here's the thing, data security it's not about perfection, and that's really the key. I mean, there are always going to be data security breaches. There's always going to be security flaws. The key is, are we doing reasonably anticipated secure ways to protect ourselves and our businesses staying on top of the latest security? Now, with this one, it wasn't widely known. For 2 years, really, apparently it went undetected. But now the hot potato is businesses really need to figure out, am I relying on this encryption tool?
Right.
And if so, am I fixing really that vulnerability and not just sitting on this information?
Well, Alysa, look, if this is in the hardware now, right? Hardware of Cisco and Juniper. I don't know about Juniper. I am familiar with Cisco. How does it get fixed?
All right, so that's two things. One, you need to identify if you've got this tool. Are you using this tool in some way? I mean, there's so many different layers. So one, identify if you are using it. If you are using it, then you need to upgrade to the next version. And that should be a relatively simple fix. The other thing is, it's going to talk a little techie here, but you have a signature. And that's on the website that really lets you know, yes, you are the website that you intend to be talking. And this is where I feel like we're going to hear a lot more about on the news, because you need to update that certificate. And those companies that give those digital certificates are not used to the onslaught that they are getting now from so many websites, so many companies who are saying, I need to revoke my old certificate and I need a new one and I need it now.
Wow, okay, update the certificate. Okay, all right, so now, there were reports, Alysa, that came out today that the NSA not only knew about heartbleed, but manipulated it. Al Jazeera reached out and the NSA denied those reports. Do you think it's possible that the NSA knew about this?
Well, here's the question. For 2 years, this security flaw went undetected. I think the real question is, we don't know who was aware of this vulnerability. We don't know what they did with it. And the tricky thing with this flaw is that it doesn't leave breadcrumbs. In the past, when you have had these data security breaches, you've been able to look back and say, aha, here's where it happened, here's the data that was affected, here's how we can affect it, here's how we can identify it. With this one, it does not leave a trail, at least not one that we're aware of yet. And so that's really the problem. We don't know if NSA was looking at this. We don't know if others were looking at that data and using it. And so that's really, I think, what has alarmed most consumers, is not knowing whether their data was affected.
Okay, you know what's bugging me right now, and I'm trying to figure out, well, I'm going to ask you a question. Could this affect the U.S. military, the U.S. defense apparatus in the country?
Well, so this was one encryption tool, and the good news that we know so far is that this wasn't an encryption tool that was used for companies that handle highly sensitive data, right? That there were other, much more secure, not only encryption tools, but layers of encryption. Because that's the key with data security. You're not just relying on one gate, you're relying on multiple levels of that. So I think, it remains to be seen. At this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to hit at that defense level, it's going to hit at the financial institutions, but certainly nobody should be complacent at this point. Everybody is just running to see, does it affect our companies, our layers of security in any way.
Alysa, that was good. I got you on techno. I'm hiring now. Alysa, terrific. That was a good conversation. She is a privacy, data, and security expert. Alysa, have a great weekend.